and welcome to my channel. My name's Angela and this is Devon Thread Tales. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I've been sewing in February, but I've also got a little bit of a treat because I've got Amy joining us as well for some of her knitting makes too. So I hope that's something that you will all enjoy. So before I start sharing with you all of the things that I've been making and what Amy's been doing, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everybody that's been subscribing, commenting, liking, sharing, etc. all my videos that I've been uploading since, goodness, I think it was 2019 possibly that I started doing this. I am absolutely blown away by the amount of subscribers that I now have. I really thought it would be very exciting to get 100 subscribers. So to think that I'm now heading towards 10,000 is just mind-blowing to me. And I absolutely love the fact that I speak to people from all around the world, let alone all around the country. It's just so amazing. And I'm really just so delighted and really grateful to everybody for doing that. If you are a regular viewer but you haven't subscribed, it would really help me out if you did press that subscribe button. It just helps to get my videos to reach that little bit further and get to people that perhaps haven't seen me before. And I'm hoping that if I get close to that 10,000 mark, I might even do a little giveaway as well. So spread the word. Anyway, on with my makes. So I started with the Tammy Handmade Mila jumper. So I talked about making this in my plans video, and I will put a link into my plans video just in case you want to see that. But I talked about making this and I said how I really liked the Nora jumper by Tilly and the Buttons, but I wasn't keen on the way that the sleeves fell because they're very, very wide, and when you're sort of, I don't know, doing the dishes or writing, or I don't know, I can't think of activities in particular where the sleeves get in the way, but the sleeves get in the way and I try and pull them up and then they fall down. And I really like the jumper because I like how boxy it is, but the sleeves just annoy me. Now I could have just straightened out those sleeves or taken in those sleeves a little bit to make it less like that. But I saw Ruan from the Yorkshire Sew Girl make this jumper and I really liked the batwing style that it had on it. Now, I only saw this on her vlog a little while ago, a month or two ago, but I did buy this fabric, I think it was in October last year when I was at the Knitting and Stitching show, and it's a remnant, or two remnants actually, from the Higgs and Higgs store, and it's just a really soft fleecy jersey. It's not particularly stretchy and it's just sort of got a soft knit on the back, but it's really soft and fluffy on the outside. It's really lovely, and I decided that this was going to be the jumper that I was going to make with it. Now, I haven't actually worn this jumper yet. I've worn it to try on and take some pictures and video of it that hopefully will be on the screen now, but I'm not sure how much I like it. So I will say I have some makes that are wins and some makes that are a bit not quite sure. And this is one of my not quite sure. I think I need to have a play around with how I style this. I think it's far more oversized than what I was expecting it to be. I made the size 10 in this, and actually I should have been a size 12, and I'm now wondering whether I could have gone down to a size 8. So I am slightly disappointed with it, but I do think I need to mess around, like I say, with that style a bit more, and styling it up and what to wear it with. I think I need to wear it tucked in, or at least have the front tucked in, and maybe wear a belt with it and something like that, and I think that I would prefer that. In terms of constructing this, it was super easy to make. It has a drop sleeve, so there's no pressure when it comes to setting in the sleeve or anything. It just works really well. I did the whole thing on my overlocker, and then when it came to just hemming it, I actually had some, did I have some Maraflex thread? Yes, I overlocked the edges of the hem, and then I just sewed it with one stitch with the Maraflex thread. And if you haven't heard of that before, it's a thread which isn't as stretchy as shearing elastic. It is just a normal cotton, but it's just got that little bit of give, and it's just great for making jersey garments with. So I did that on the cuffs and on the hem as well. I am slightly annoyed, and I could try and take this out, but I'm not going to. because I love doing a bit of pattern matching. And I know for those of you that don't care, you'll think I'm being ridiculous. But for those of you who are like me and like things to be pattern matched, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But look, I mean, it's only a couple of millimeters, but it's like, oh, how annoying is that? So yes, I'm a little bit annoyed about the neckband, but I mean, it's close enough, isn't it? So yes, so I'm pleased with how it's come out. I think it's a really good jumper to make. I think it's a nice, easy one. I could, I think, just actually go down each of these side seams. I could undo the hem a little bit on each of these sides and just go down the side seams and just take it in a little bit, because it is quite big. But tell me what you think in the comments. I'll, like I say, have put some pictures up and some video of me wearing it. I'm just not 100% sure. That's what I'm going with that one. The next thing that I made, and this was something which was going to be teaching me a new skill, or certainly researching to find a new skill. And some people in my plans video were very, very kind and put some suggestions or some YouTube videos for me to go and watch. And lots of people suggested Judi. Now I'm worried that I've got that wrong. It's either the Judi or Judith. I think it's Judi from Running So and So. So I'm really sorry if I've got that wrong, but I'll make sure I put the correct name across the screen, and I'll put a link in the description below to her YouTube channel. But she had a video all about flat locking, and I wanted to make a pair of leggings with a flat lock seam. So if you don't know what a flat lock seam is, it's a seam that you do, I think, ordinarily just on your overlocker. So normally you would put right sides together of your fabric, and then you would overlock it, and then you would sort of bring it apart, and you'd end up with a little seam allowance where it's all overlocked. Flat locking, you put the material wrong sides together, you then use this flat locking stitch, and then you pull the fabric apart, and what happens is the fabric actually ends up laying like that, overlapping each other, with a type of stitch over the top that keeps it all, you know, together and sealed, and is great because it's a good stretch stitch. So I'll try and show you what this looks like. So I made the Huby leggings from Sew Over It, and lots of people, because I said I wasn't quite sure how to pronounce this, and lots of people said it is Huby, and it's because it's a place near Lisa from Sew Over It. Obviously it's her design, from somewhere near where she lives. So that's the story behind the name of it. So this is this type of seam that it produces. So this is on the outside, so they are overlapped with each other. On the inside, it looks like that. Now, I'm unsure about how I feel about this being like this. Now, I don't think this will come apart, but some of me, or part of me, thinks I want to go over it again with like another kind of overlocking stitch or something. But it does seem quite strong, so hopefully it'll be okay. But I think it looks really effective. So that's the back seam, and then you've got they've got inside seams down the inside of the leg. Can you see that there? Down there. It's very patterned fabric, so it's difficult to see. Now, I had 3 different types of fabric to have a go at making these with, and this was my least favourite, I have to say. So I decided I was going to make it out of this fabric. And I have to say, now I've made them and I've put them on, I really quite like them. So I'm not actually sort of too upset about this fabric at all now. But the other fabric that I've got is a bit stiffer, and I think it might feel a little bit like you're really wearing them. You know, sometimes you get a pair of leggings and they're a bit loose, and then you get another pair and they feel nice and tight and secure. These are just on that loose side, and I think it's because the fabric is a bit sort of stretchy. Now, my size in a Sew Over It pattern is always a size 12, and I made the size 12. I'm just going to check, actually. Yes, I made the size 12, but I am pretty convinced that I need to go down to the size 10 in future, because it's just a bit too roomy. And again, that might be the combination of the fabric with the size that I've made, but I definitely think I need to go down a size. So the construction of these is pretty easy, and you don't have to do a flat lock seam to be able to put these together. You could just put it together with a sewing machine. That's absolutely fine. It's just I wanted to have a little go and a little experiment on doing that, and I'm pleased that I did. So everything is flat locked except for when I put the hemband together. It's a front and back hemband, so I just overlock that, and then it doesn't tell you to do anything else, but I actually got a piece of fairly wide elastic and I then zigzag stitched that to the seam allowance inside the hem because I felt like this was going to be too loose. So I didn't make the elastic any smaller than my waist. I actually made it so it was exactly the right size, so it was comfortable, but I knew it wasn't going to fall down. And I think I've taken some pictures of that, so hopefully I've got that up on the screen for you to see. So I do feel like these are very slightly roomy around the crotch area. And I tried to make sure that I didn't have any strange little pattern matching, but that bit there seems to have landed right in a peculiar place, so that's not the best look, but it's fine, it's fine. But I'm really pleased with these, and I really want to have a go at making these again, but in the other fabric and a size down. And I've also have a pattern from Green Style Creations, I think that's what the name of the pattern company is called, and I've got the Tempo leggings, so I'm quite sort of excited about having a little go at making those as well. But I do like them. I will wear these, but I will only wear them to something like Pilates, where I'm not jumping around. It's quite sort of a stationary and very slow and gentle sort of exercise, because the last thing I want to do is to have any mishaps and for these to fall down. But I think if they were a bit tighter, they would be absolutely fine. So yeah, I do like them. I'm really pleased with them. And in particular, I think I'm particularly chuffed about the fact that I've really conquered the flat locking, and I couldn't have done it without Judi, I'm pretty sure it's Judi's help from running So and So. So thank you so much to you, and I feel really rude now that I can't think whether it's Judi or Judith, so I'm so sorry. You know, when you're just doing something and you suddenly go, oh, my mind's gone completely blank. Well, that's what's happened. Anyway, that was my Huby leggings. So the next two things that I've made are part of a set, so I'm going to show you them together. So you might have guessed they are actually a pajama set, and I made these kind of in collaboration, I suppose it was in collaboration, with Helen from Stitch Rip Repeat. We went up and visited, well, we went up and met up with, not visited, we went and met up with the Northern Soul Sisters, who are Tamlin from Sewn on the Tyne, Rachel from Rach Stitched Up, and Ruan from the Yorkshire Sew Girl. Gosh, my mind's working overtime trying to remember everybody's names now. And we all made kind of matching pajamas. So what we did, we all had the Jackson T pattern, and we all bought different coloured jersey from First for Fabrics, and I went with the royal blue, and I really like this. I'm really chuffed with it, and it is actually a really nice t-shirt pattern. It's very easy to make. The only thing that I would change about this pattern is I wish I had just slightly shortened the neckband. I think you need to do that depending on what kind of jersey you're making. I just feel like if I'd reduced it, even if it was just by a centimetre or so, it would have sat just a bit flatter. But honestly, you can barely see it. That's my own me being a bit picky. I put a little label in it which says "You deserve to dream." Hopefully you can see that on the screen, and I'm pretty sure that label is from the Little Rosy Cheeks company. But yeah, I'm really chuffed with this t-shirt. I just think it's a really nice easy wear and nice as a t-shirt for bed. But I do think it would be quite a nice t-shirt as well for a daytime. Not this particular one, but if I just wanted a plain white one or something like that, that would be really nice. And I put that together with this fabric. And again, we all had the same fabric, but this time in the same colour, but this time we all made our own pattern for our pajama bottoms. And I happened to make the Closet Core Caroline pajama bottoms. I've made them before in a short version, and I really like them. And the thing is, I knew that they fit, so I didn't have to mess around with getting a pattern that was going to fit or worrying about how it was going to fit. So I just felt like that was going to be a nice, easy, quick solution for me. And I like the fact that they've got pockets in them, and they're not inseam pockets, they are sort of little slash pockets. They're elasticated all the way around, so they're nice and comfy. I opted to not do the I can't think what it's called, not the binding, but the piping on the bottom. I just wanted them to be left quite plain because they are so checkered. I didn't think it was going to show up too much unless I'd done it in maybe a different colour. But then when I thought about doing them in a different colour, I decided to not do that because I like the idea that I might make several different coloured t-shirts to go with this. So I think it'd be really nice to have a red one. Some of the ladies had like pinky colours when we went away and they looked really great. And it was funny, and it was only for ourselves to do, but it was just nice to go away. We all kind of had these little matching pyjamas and it was quite cute, I have to say. It was really lovely. And while we were away with them, they did a live that the Northern Soul Sisters do on their channel. So I'll put a link in that below if you fancy going to have a look at that. And we were all wearing our pyjamas in that as well. So it was quite fun. So yeah, so I'm really pleased with these. I'm pretty sure I made the size 10 in the Jackson tee, and that was definitely a size smaller than what I should have made. I think I would have been a size 12, but based on the other ladies, they had all made it before and they said that they'd gone down a size, so I decided to go down a size. And the trousers in the Closet Core Caroline pyjamas I made in a size 10, which I think they are the correct size for me. So yeah, I didn't change that at all, and I didn't make any adjustments to either the Jackson tee or this. Now what I will say with the Jackson tee is it does come with a long sleeve version, and Rachel has just made a pair of pyjamas and she's made like a brush cotton. Oh, I forgot to say this was also from Fursa Fabrics. I can't remember if I said that or not, but she's made like a quite pinky pair in a brush cotton and then with a long sleeve Jackson tee, and it just looks so nice and so snuggly. Now I don't think I'm going to make that anytime soon because I'm hoping at some point the weather is actually going to turn and we're going to have some nicer weather. So I'm not going to need thick woolly pyjamas, but I'm going to have that on my to-do list for autumn winter at the end of this year because I really liked the look of it and what they looked like, and it was just a really nice combination. And I believe there's actually an add-on pack to this now as well, and you can make it with a hood, so that's really good too. Anyway, I'll get on with the next make. Whilst we were planning on going away with the Northern Soul Sisters, there was a bit of a discussion about possibly everybody making the Tilly and the Buttons Marnie blouse. Now I was a little bit like, I don't know if I really want to make this because it is really not my style at all. But Rachel had made it, Ruanne had made it, Helen was really quite up for making it, and I don't think Tamlin had made one, and she unfortunately didn't get a chance to make one before we went away. But Helen and I went to a social event at Make 140, and we decided if we were going to do it, we were going to do it there. We were just going to make them and get them done. And I'm really glad that we did. So we both chose our fabric and we cut out the fabric before we went to the social day, and then we spent the day sewing together. Now the thing with the Marnie blouse is it has lots of different options. It has the option to have some shoulder sort of frills that sort of come over, which are very, very popular at the moment. It also has the option of having these really lovely pin tucks that are all across the front, and you can have them all across the arm as well, the top of the arm, sleeve, not the arm, the sleeve. And you also have the option of either just a round neck or a little frill collar. So you can mix and match all of these different things. And I really wanted to do the pin tucks, but I knew I wanted to make this in a viscose fabric, and all the advice out there, including from Tilly and the Buttons, was that if you were going to make it in some sort of a viscose fabric, that really the pin tucks weren't going to work. So I went without the pin tucks and I went with the little frill collar, and I skipped out the frilly sleeves because they just don't make me feel comfortable. They don't suit me. I love the look of them on other people, but they are not for me at all. So I chose this fabric from Make Up 140. It's, for me, I feel like it's quite a loud fabric. And I made this with a really kind of skeptical mind, which I feel really awful. And actually, I think Helen was feeling the same. On the day that we were making them, we were both a bit like, oh, I hope we like these. I hope that we like these because they're quite tricky to make. But I have to say, I quite like it. And really surprised. I think this is as far as I will go when it comes to big poofy sleeves, because I don't really do big poofy sleeves and big poofy shoulders, and I'm glad that it's not too poofy around the shoulder. Helen did hers with the frills on the shoulder, and she did hers in a double gauze, and it looks absolutely fabulous on her, and it really suits her. And I'm glad that she's done that, but I am glad that I left them off for me, because like I say, I just don't like the way they look on me. They have this straight piece of sleeve here, so you inset the sleeve, which has got a bit of gather, and it's got a straight sleeve, and then you add on basically a massive rectangle that you gather and then put a piece of elastic around, so it has this lovely droopy sort of sleeve. Now if you can imagine, if that was in a cotton lawn or in a cotton or any kind of stiffer fabric than what I've got, this is going to create this massive kind of poof, which does look amazing if you like that, but I just don't think I can. So I'm glad I've gone with a really droopy, drapey fabric. So like I say, I went with this collar, which you can't really see on there, but hopefully on the pictures when I'm wearing it you can see it. But I went with a little ruffle collar, and I'm really glad I went with that. Helen did just the round neck collar, and you must go and check out Helen's on her YouTube channel and on her Instagram. She went without the ruffle collar, but that's because she went with the ruffly shoulders. So I think that was right. I think it was right that she skipped that bit and I skipped this bit. It kind of worked really well. If I was going to do the pin tucks, this yoke here that you can see, this is where it would be, and the pattern piece is actually a bit longer, and then by the time you put the pin tucks in, it brings it up to this same level, and they're all wavy, and I just love the look of it, but it just wouldn't have worked in this. And then obviously they go across this part of the sleeve as well. It's really large across the body, and it looks nice untucked, but for me and the way I style it, I prefer it tucked in. I just think that suits me better. This is actually a viscose twill, so it's quite a thick viscose, and I quite like it. I wore it when I was out in Birmingham with the Northern Soul Sisters, and I wore it during the day when we were out and about sort of doing shopping and bits and pieces, and it was quite nice because it had that feeling of being a little bit warm, even though it was a lightweight blouse, because it just has that thicker feel to it. So I'm really pleased with it. I don't know what the name of this fabric is, but like I say, I got it from Make It 140, and it is just beautiful. I really love the design in it. It is lovely, and if I can think of it, I will try and put a link to it below. I also bought a button from Make It 140 because she has a huge button selection, and I thought that was quite nice because it kind of picked up this orangey colour that was in the blouse as well. So yes, so all in all, a bit of a surprise. Obviously the pyjamas and this marnie are two things that I hadn't planned on making at all during the month of February, and this has been the biggest surprise really, because I was making it because I wanted to kind of join in with everybody, but with that sort of reservation of I don't think I'm gonna like it, but actually really do quite like it. And in fact, I'm probably going to wear it to work tomorrow with a pair of trousers. So there you go. So yes, so that is my marnie, my surprise make. I am now going to hand you over to Amy, and she's going to share with you some of the things that she's been knitting and some of her plans too.
Hiya, I thought I'd come back on here again and talk to you a bit about what I've been up to the last couple of weeks, knitting and spinning wise. So yeah, I'll start with what I'm wearing. I made this last year, I can't remember when. This is the September sweater by Petite Knit. Lovely, big, oversized. It's made with 3 strands of Diablo mohair held together, and I think it's the colour lavender. And I wear this jumper nearly every day because it's really light, because it's just mohair, but really warm, and I wear it every day, and it's very nice. The mohair isn't excellent quality, so it kind of looks a bit raggedy already, and I don't know if you can depill mohair, but it's really nice, and it was very fun to make. I actually made one for my little sister for her birthday and was a bit jealous, so I made myself one. So yeah, there we go. I've got a list here so I can remember everything. Okay, first thing that I finished was my Gansey, if you remember me telling you about that. So here it is. It's wet because I'm blocking it right now. And I don't usually hang it over the back of my chair, but well, I say it's nearly dry, it's not really, but here it is. Ooh, stand up so I can show you the whole thing. Ooh. There we go. So it's huge, it's massive, but it is so warm. Yeah, it's got all these patterns on it. I changed a couple of things about the pattern. So I changed the neckline. It's meant to be a rolled neckline in a stocking stitch, but I wanted a folded, chunky, ribbed neckline. So there it is. I'm going to put some elastic in there. Same with this. I'm going to put some elastic in the neckline just so it doesn't overstretch. Yeah, it smells very woolly, especially because it's wet. It's very strong, but it's very nice, and I've been wearing it a lot. And because it's so heavy, it's really relaxing and cozy, like something I put on in the evenings to chill out. And it's very nice. It's made with 2 strands of the fingering weight woolly knit cones that Mum got me for Christmas. So there's that one. I had quite a lot left because for some reason I thought I needed 3 of those cones and I didn't. I probably needed 2 because I've got a bit of the 2 cones left and 1 complete cone. So I made a hat with the leftovers, and I shall show you. So with the leftovers and a strand of mohair, the mohair was also Diablo mohair, but it's a wild prince, and I think it's in the colour marshmallow. So I made a hat. It's the Oslo hat. I haven't blocked it yet, and it's definitely too big, which I had a lot of confusion with it. I had the wrong gauge, and I gave up trying to get gauge. I just thought, oh, with the gauge that I've got, which I like, which looks similar to her gauge, what size do I need to make? And I just did the maths wrong, which is a bit embarrassing considering I'm doing a maths degree. But anyway, so I've made it just 1 size too big, but it's not too bad. I'll put it on, but I'll look a bit silly. But see, if I pull it all the way down, it's not great, but it's okay to have a little bit of kind of beanie looking. And I think if I were to block it, I could pull the ridge up a bit more, but don't know. But I've been wearing it a lot, and I really like it, and it's all rainbows. Very cool. And I bought 2 balls of the mohair, but I only used 1. I literally used like up until 20 centimetres of the first ball, so I could make an entirely separate hat with that, which is very nice. Another accessory I made, which I didn't have the wool last time, and I didn't have any plans of it last time, but I went to London to visit my boyfriend, and we went to some knitting shops because I'd never been to the ones in London, and the last one we went to, I hadn't got any the whole time, and I was so sad. So I bought 1, just 1, with the idea of making some sort of shawl or small scarf to wear on my neck, because I don't like having all the bulk of a big scarf, but I just wanted something to go on my neck. So it's already been made. This is a modified Sophie scarf. It's all been scrunched up in my cupboard. But here it is. I started off doing the increases at the rate that she said, and then thought it looks too skinny and I don't want it to be that long, so I just doubled the rate of increase and then had like a thick portion in the middle. And then what I do now is I just wrap it round and just tuck either tuck the ends in and they hide under my coat, or I tie it in a little knot and tuck it under. And it's kind of like a cowl, but it keeps me very warm, and I really like the colour of it. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. I didn't save the ball band, so it's just, I don't know, I know it was lamb's wool, Scottish lamb's wool, but it's very soft and still smells sheepy too. I love it. So there we go. What else did I make? That's everything I made, because the Gansey took a very long time. What I'm making right now is the socks that I was talking about last time that were far too big, so I'll grab them. So these socks are for my boyfriend, and I tried making them about 5 times, and each time I failed. So I had a break, I made this massive thing and then started again, and I'm quite pleased with them. They're nearly done. I'll probably finish them today. So I'm doing 2 at a time, so it's a bit of a mess. But I've got a big black sock, and I think that looks more appropriately sized. It fits my foot like exactly, with no negative or positive ease. So I think with, like, it should be an inch less ease lengthwise, no, half an inch less ease lengthwise and an inch less ease widthwise, which I think that will work out fine. I think there's a bit of positive ease in my foot lengthwise, so yeah, it does look quite big. I think it's fine. I've basically finished it now. I didn't change anything about it apart from the fact that I didn't do the pattern. The pattern is a free pattern on Ravelry called the Diamond Waffle Socks, and it's a very nice pattern, but I couldn't do the actual diamond waffle part of it, because it doesn't show up on the black, so I thought it's going to take longer to add in the pattern, so I just did it plain stocking stitch. So yeah, I think you call this an Eye of Partridge heel, which I think is very cool. It kind of looks a bit honeycomby without doing honeycomb stitch. And it's got this garter stitch edge, which I've never seen before, or I've never done anyway. So yeah, I finished most of the sock. I've got about half an inch left of this twisted ribbing at the top, which looks very, I like twisted ribbing. Looks a lot neater than ordinary ribbing. So yeah, I'll finish them tonight, and I'm quite pleased. Well, I'll finish knitting them. I would like to embroider a little white symbol, something, I don't know. I'm thinking of doing a moustache, because whenever we call on Snapchat, he puts the moustache filter on because he loves it. So I was thinking of putting a moustache on it. I don't know, something to personalise them a bit. But there we go, that's what I'm making now. After I finish making them, so probably later tonight, I'm going to start making something different, which is very different for me. Usually I make clothes or socks, but I'm going to make a frog. And I need to grab something else. 2 seconds. So I've mentioned that I don't like scraps, but I was making a scrappy blanket and I didn't like it. I just thought it looked ugly, and I wanted the colours to coordinate a bit better and not to have so much colour. So I ripped it all out, and now I've got a big tray, those Hobbycraft like 3 trays of scraps, which actually is quite cool to look at. It's very fun to look at all the colours and everything. And next year, one of my housemates also likes knitting, so I can be like, do you want to have a look? We can make something, have a look at my scraps. I don't know. But I've seen on Instagram, the account is .pebbles, I think, loads of these little knitted frogs, and they are adorable. People make little clips of like stop motion things of them doing stuff. It's so cute. So I really want to make one. So I thought, why not? I've got scrap wool definitely to make that. So I've got this green, which I think is perfect frog green. This is all I've got, but I've also got a scrunchie that I made out of this, which I can easily unravel. So I think I'm going to make a frog. It's going to be for my boyfriend, because I'm going to make myself a different one to match. But I'm going to make that tonight and tomorrow. I don't know how long it will take me. It's quite technical, but it's not very big, so who knows. But I'm quite excited about that little frog. Yeah, but that's only a small thing. But then after that, I'm going to be finally starting my rumble raglan, which I talked about before. I got wool for it, which I probably haven't actually shown you, so I'll show you. This was when I went to London, and we went to a John Lewis because all of the yarn shops were closed on the day that we were meant to go. So we went to John Lewis instead. And I got some cotton because it's going to be a t-shirt. And it's kind of meant for summer or spring. So I thought cotton's the best choice. But it is a colour work top. So might not. We'll see. I've never done colour work with cotton. I don't think many people do. I think wool's just better for that. It looks more even and everything, but I'll challenge myself. It'll be fine. So I went for something different because I always go for blues and like purples and pinks. And I thought, I'm going to go for orange because I got a new orange coat. I'm a bit obsessed with it, so now everything has to be orange, obviously. So I got orange. It's 3 colours, so they're all Rowan Summerlight 4-ply, 50 grams Egyptian cotton. So I got 2 in this orange colour, which I thought might look nice because I got blue eyes, like contrasting colours. I got white as a base. Just should probably read the colour names. Not sure it has the names on there. And then I got this pink because I thought it went quite well with this all together. It'll be quite nice. I don't know which one's going to be my main colour. I don't know if I'll have the orange, like for the neckband and the armband and everything, or the white. Orange, I think. I don't know. But I'm going to be making that probably this weekend, because I'm coming home this weekend. So there's that. Anything else new that I got? Yeah. So I have loads of this woolly knit cone left. I'll show you. This is what I've got left of one of them. I've got another cone with the same amount, and I've got another cone which is completely full. So I've decided I want to try writing my own patterns, not to sell or anything like that, but just to have a go at it and further my understanding of construction and how to make a perfect fitting garment. So I've decided I'm gonna make a simple raglan. I think I'll go through my ideas. What I wanted to do was make a striped raglan sweater, but I follow Hive Knits on YouTube, and she's making a jumper at the moment. It's plain grey, but she's done stripes throughout it, but they're a gradient of stripes. So you have like a light green block of grey, slightly darker green block of grey, transition to blue block of, it transitions really nicely. It's very, very cool. You should find her Instagram, Hive Knits, and you'll see it. But I was like, oh, I like that. So I'm going to try it. There's been wool in Hobbycraft where I live every time I go. Hobbycraft is right next to Lidl, So every time I go to Lidl, which is every week, I go into Hobbycraft and I see this wool and it's so cool. They're different weight wools is the only thing, which is probably going to be an issue, but I'm telling myself that it's not. I'll show you. Let me just show you. So this is it. It's so cool. It's James C. Brett double knitting, but it looks like quite a thin double knitting. But then this is also quite a thin fingering weight. So I'm thinking I probably will have to buy like a lace weight to pair with the fingering weight, or to hold the fingering weight double. I'll have to gauge swatch, but I'll make them work. And basically I want to stripe. I want to have the rainbows stripe throughout the jumper. I don't know how I'm going to make that work and make it consistent, so I'll start from the top down and I'll construct a raglan. I'll probably base it off of a different pattern, because I want to have short rows and things like that, because I want it to be really well fitting, but I don't know how to design something with short rows in it. I know how to do them, but I don't know how to work out. I don't know how they work, really, which I guess is the point of this. So I'll probably base it off of a different jumper, but just change the numbers around a little bit. Yeah, start from the top down, raglan. Then when I split for the sleeves, I need to work out how I'm going to keep the stripe consistent, so have it match the body and the arms. Or I might just have to not do that at all and just have the body as one and then try and match the arms. Like this, the gradient on the arms. I don't know, but there's a couple of design things that I know I want to do. I know I want to have 2x1 ribbing everywhere. Yeah, on all of it. I want it to have relatively straight sleeve like this, but less oversized. Like, you know, not nice straight sleeve. But we'll see. That's quite ambitious and probably quite a way off because I've got quite a lot to knit. I've still got the knitting for Olive and sock wool that Mum gave me and wool that my grandparents gave me and stuff to spin. That's another thing. I got, I'm cheating. I'm really enjoying spinning, but it's taking a long time to get somewhere, which I know is the point. That's what knitting is. It takes a long time to get one thing, but for some reason that doesn't bother me. But the spinning is bothering me. I want the finished thing, and I don't want to spend that much time on it. So I ordered a small electric spinning wheel. It's £10 on Etsy. That really easy to find. I don't know how it works, but I thought it's £10. So I'm going to give it a go, and hopefully it will spin a bit quicker. Speaking of, 2 people who watch Mum's channel have offered to give me some things. I don't have them with me, they're at home, but I'll be going home this weekend, so I'll get to see them. I won't say names because I'm not sure if they want that, but somebody has kindly given me some Plutalopi, which is an unspun yarn which I've never used before, which I'm very, very, very excited to try, and I've already got plans. I've got everything sorted out, but I'll probably talk about that when I have it with me. And another viewer also gave me some fibre to try spinning with, which is very exciting. And I've also got plans for that. But again, I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, that's everything from me. Hopefully I didn't chat too much. Yeah, bye-bye.
So on to the last thing that I've made, and this is the thing that I think I'm probably most pleased with. I have wanted to use this fabric for such a long time and have been too scared to do so. But I was asked by Adaku from Dovetailed London to take part in the catwalk that's happening in London at the Stitch Festival. And she said, would I like to make something and take part in this catwalk. And I was like, oh, okay. And I had bought this fabric from her a long time ago, and I had just had it in my stash, looking at it, loving it, and basically storing it. Because I was too afraid to cut into it, and just in case, you know, I ruined it, and then that would be it. I wouldn't be able to have that fabric again. So it was a little bit of a push that I needed to actually make it. And I was very lucky because I actually won a Daku's book, Sewing with African Wax Fabric, in an Instagram challenge a couple of years ago now. So that was nothing to do with me doing this, that was just something completely unrelated. But I happen to have her book, and on the front of her book she's got this amazing picture of the Christie circle skirt, and it's in a orange and royal blue and yellow fabric with like irons on it. I mean, I would never have thought of buying fabric which has irons on it, but honestly this circle skirt looks absolutely stunning and it's really lovely, and I've always wanted to make it. So that was what I was going to make with my African wax fabric, and here she is, my circle skirt from the African wax fabric from Dovetailed London, and I flipping love it. I really, really do. It is just the most stunning fabric. It has washed really beautifully. It's got a really nice pocket in it. I haven't worn it yet, but only because I don't want to ruin it before I go to the catwalk. I don't want a chance spilling anything down it or anything like that. Can you imagine? I would be so mortified. So it's been hanging on the back of my door for quite some time, which is a bit of a shame, but it's only in a few weeks time. So once I have been to that show, I'm going to wear this with a lot of pride, I have to say. So there were two lengths to this skirt. There's a longer length than this one, and this is the shorter length. In the fabric, I don't know if you can see very well, unfortunately I've had to video this in the evening, so the light isn't brilliant, I'm afraid, I'm so sorry. But the fabric this is a navy blue, and then red and the white, and this lovely beautiful turquoise blue on in the background. So I think a really nice royal navy blue roll neck jumper with it, so to make it a bit warmer, or a nice lightweight white blouse. I think I've taken some pictures of it when I've had something white on. I think I've just had a little white t-shirt with a red cardigan over the top, and that looks really lovely. I've also worn it in the photos with a little denim jacket, and that looks nice. And I had a navy blue vest top, and I've put that on with it, so it's really nice, and I think it's quite versatile. Obviously it's a full circle skirt, so it's really nice and swishy, which is great. I tried really hard to pattern match it, so the zip's undone, pattern match it at the back, and I have near as damn it done it. So where's the zip? There's the zip, and I have just about done it. It's just a few millimeters out, but not much at all. But I'm really pleased with how that's gone in at the back. The instructions in the book, I would say, are relatively straightforward. I think you need to have some experience of sewing if you've never sewn before, because the instructions are limited. They're not horrendous by any stretch, but they're limited, and they don't particularly tell you to finish the seam allowances and things like that, which obviously you would ordinarily do. But other than that, I think the construction of it went really well, and the instructions were very good in that respect. I made the size 14. You need to have a look online to have a look at the sizing guide to see what size you need to make. And all I did was I took my waist measurement and I used that to find which size I needed. I didn't bother with the hips or anything because it's a full circle skirt. I just didn't think there was any need to. And that worked really well. I did have a bit of a moment, shall we say, because I think it was quite late at night, and I decided that I was going to do a toile of just the waistband. I mean, I barely needed to do a toile. I just needed to trace out the waistband and then check that that fitted. And I did it, and it was really large on me, and I don't know what I'd done, but I basically traced out about 4 sizes bigger than what I was meant to, and I couldn't figure out this size. And then I put it back down on the actual pattern and retraced it, and I was like, oh my goodness, what have I done? So yes, panic over, and I made the right size and it fits really nicely. I would like to make this again in some other fabric. I love a skirt like this. I love a circle skirt. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's got a really nice, elegant look to it. And in this fabric in particular, well, it's just stunning, isn't it? And I couldn't be happier with it. So I'm very excited about wearing this to the Knitting and Stitching show, and no, not the Knitting and Stitching show, the Stitch Festival, and wearing it at the catwalk. I think if you haven't had a look at the Dovetailed London fabrics yet, you really need to go and have a look. They are stunning. They are a feast for the eyes. They are absolutely beautiful. They're just so full of happiness and joy because the colours are just so bright and vibrant and just beautiful. There you go. Have I done a big enough plug for Dovetailed London? I love them. And I'm so glad that I was brave enough to actually cut into this and make it. So that's everything that I've actually made. There are a couple of things on my plans that I didn't end up making. One of them was a butterick dress, which I'm a bit gutted that I haven't got to do, but I just didn't even get anywhere near it. I didn't get started with it. It was one of those things that I had as a, if I have chance, I might make this, but I just didn't get round to it at all. I also had on there that I was going to make the Modern Sewing Company, I think that's the name of the company, their MS spring trousers. Now I have made those, but they're just not quite finished. So I will be sharing those in my March Makes video, and I'm quite happy with them, but they're not my favourite. So I will share all about that when I share those in March. And then you might be able to see behind me on my mannequin here, I have the Size Me Sewing Vienne dress, which is partially made. I just need to put some elastic around the waist and hem her and put a button in the back, and then she'll be ready to share with you in my March make. So I did make some of it in February. I just didn't quite finish it, which is a bit of a shame, but I'm really excited about wearing that. And when I saw Tamlin over that weekend when we went away, she had on her Vienne dress again, and I was like, oh, can't wait to finish mine now. So that's everything that I've got to share with you from my February makes. I hope that you've enjoyed that. What have you all been up to and what have you been sewing? Do let me know in the comments below. I will just say I am so sorry that I have not been able to keep up with replying to all my comments just recently. Been a little bit overwhelmed with some of the things that I've been doing. I've had weekends away, I've been working a couple of weekends, I've also had my daughter home, and just during the week has been extra busy. So I'm so sorry I haven't kept up with everything. I will try and get to the comments as soon as I possibly can, but please just bear with me. If you are somebody that's commented before and you know that I normally reply, please don't think I'm being rude and I haven't come back to you. It's just a timing delay and that's it. Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you there, and I hope you all have a good week. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.